Join me as I show you how I made this ceramic mug. I begin, like any other ceramic project, by laying down some clay and then scoring in some grooves. Once that's done, I'll place the wooden bat on top and press it down onto the potter's wheel. This will make it much easier to remove the ceramic vessel later. I'll throw the clay down onto the bat and then with a wet hand seal the clay onto the board. First things first, I'll just let the clay run between my hands and that will help condense it down into a smooth ball shape. Once that's achieved, I'll then start coning and centering the clay, raising the clay up and then pressing the clay back down into the wooden bat. I've just sped up the wheel a little bit now. I find that having a quick wheel at this stage really helps. So again, I'm going to lift by coning and centering the clay, making sure that it's all nice and wet so that it moves between my hands quite freely. Once it's nice and centered, I'll use my thumb to open it up. And then I'll pause the potter's wheel and using a stick like this, I'll measure out 1 centimetre base width at the bottom. Then opening up the clay before pressing the base down. I've found at this point coning the walls in slightly so they taper inwards really helps when trying to pinch the walls later. So clasping my hands together to make it nice and stable, I'll have my outside hand slightly lower and my inside hand slightly higher, and I'll pinch the walls, pulling it up into this cylinder shape. Next, using a wooden kidney, I'll press the clay from inside, pushing it out onto the kidney itself. And this will help remove all the excess slip and support with drying it out. I found the rim was slightly uneven, so with a pin, I just removed it before then burnishing the sides again to make it nice and smooth with the kidney. Using both hands, I'll pinch the lip to make it nice and thin before scoring a wire underneath. Using a dry sponge, I'll just kind of dab and remove any excess slip inside, and again this will help with drying. Now I'm going to be working on the handle, so I wedge out some clay and then with a wet hand I'll slightly clasp the clay and start pulling it down into these long snake-like shapes. Once I've got the desired length, I'm going to start laying them over a cylindrical shape so that they have a bit of time to dry out and they form a handle shape. So I'll place them over here like so and then leave it for a couple of hours just to dry out a little bit before adding it to the ceramic mug vessel. Next, I'm going to score the edges of the clay with a pin like this, and then I'll do the bottom one as well. Those little dots there that you see me doing was just to make sure that it was nice and aligned. Once that's done, I'm going to take a brush with some slip on it. Slip is just watery clay basically, and apply a little bit to the top and the bottom where I scored it. I'll press the handle that I made earlier into the mug, into these slip areas, and then using a wooden tool like so, I'll begin to work on the seams between where the handle starts and where the mug body ends. I don't have a fettle, so just using a finger to just smooth off the edges so that it looks nice and seamless, and then using a wet sponge to just work on and refine the edges. A slight correction there of the handle to make sure it's nice and straight before finally just wiping down the bottom of the mug. I'll leave it to dry and before firing. And here's the final piece. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what shape I should make next, and don't forget to like and subscribe.